Alright, this is just going to be a video on how I fixed up this plane and kind of the steps I went through with it. So, I started filming the video, and unfortunately the first part of it, where I went through the whole introduction and set it up and talked about everything, for some reason I can watch it on my computer, but my video editor won't even acknowledge it, and it just crashes. So, unfortunately, the first part where I'm talking about how this plane was pretty bad condition. Okay, so this was rusty. This was solid. Everything on here was frozen solid. I was at a store in Utica, New York. The guy said he'd sell it to me for $10. I said I don't think so. I got a number 5 earlier that day that was pretty rough, but it wasn't frozen solid, and I paid $10 for that. So the guy said, okay, I'll let you have it for free then. So I couldn't pass it up, and it was rusted solid. The lateral adjustment lever here was frozen. The depth adjuster, all this stuff down here, everything here was just frozen solid. And I took it home, started filming the video of cleaning it up. I used a lot of PB Blaster to clean it up. I used the wire wheel, which that part you will see. So the actual process you will see. Unfortunately, I don't really have any good before pictures of it. So you can see that video. And for some reason, I started talking about the number 8 at the same time, because I bought them in the same day. So this is it. I've been using it a lot, so it's pretty dirty. And it's an Ohio Tools number 8. Or Ohio Tools 08 as they go by. I fixed them up at the same time. So as you're watching the video, you'll hear me mention the number 8 periodically. So don't be confused. That's what I was talking about. I decided to just cut it down to just this number 4 because there wasn't really anything special about that number 8 that needed to be included in here. The only thing I got left to do with this is I'm going to go ahead and clean up that front knob a little bit and get the paint off this back knob and put a little bit of shellac on it, possibly, depending on how it looks after the paint comes off. So enjoy the video, and like I said in the video that you weren't able to see because it was corrupted or something, like us on Facebook, like the video, subscribe, and follow us. And once I get all these projects out of the way, these hand planes and stuff, I'll get back to the actual woodworking, which is more what you're probably watching for. So thanks for tuning in, and hopefully the video makes sense to you. Enough of the number 8, now on to the number 4. I'm going to try and take it apart as much as possible. I'm going to wire wheel much of the rust off as I can, and then soak the rest. Nope. 9 out of 10 times I find the plane with the blade end upside down. Stanley Rule and Level Company. So this is, I don't remember if this is before or after a Sweetheart plane. I'm going to have to look it up. Look how rusty that is in there. Just stuck. I don't want to break these off. Good. I don't know if you can see it. That screw right there. I've got a fairly late model number 5 that I let the guy talk me into buying. I knew it was I knew it was too rusty, but it was only this part of the plane was excellent. This part of the plane was where all the rust was concentrated. Not as bad as this one overall, but I knew it was going to be difficult. I should not have bought it. But the guy talked me into it, sold it to me for $10. and that screw just snapped right off, which is not too important, but really good condition. Tote. But it's definitely not the way I wanted it to go down. So I'm going to take that one off of there while I'm at it. Let's see what happens with this one. I'm not going to force it this time, knowing how fragile they are. Oh, I got movement. This one is actually better than that number 5. It's very tight, but it is coming off. Let me get this out of the way. Nope. Still nothing. That excites me. That little guy out of there. Nice. That's a really good start, especially for a plane that was free. Hopefully everything else goes as well as this disassembly just went. Hopefully I can unfree that, free up that one and that knob, and let's see what happens. I'm going to spray this one. I want to get it on the stone. See if this stuff does what my friend claims it'll do. I'm going to spray it all over. I'm getting the lateral adjustment knob also, because that is frozen. I'm going to set that over there, and I'm going to spray the chip breaker screw. Set that over here. And one last thing is this piece, because good measure. Now we will take this stuff over to the wire wheel and get started with my very, very dirty, very, very old eye protection. You always want to be careful when you're grinding or scrubbing this part of the lever, because a lot of times that's where the patent dates are that allow you to find out what year this plane is from. Good news is this is already starting to move a little bit better thanks to our PB blaster over there. This is... Oh, we got movement. It's moved. And okay, so the battery on my camera's dead, so I'm just going to skip straight to the point. I'm throwing in a bunch of stuff in here, as well as the number 8 and the number 4 we're talking about, mostly because they need the rust taken off. Also because I want to displace as much mass in there as possible, so it takes less of my vinegar and water solution to fill this up. But on another note, in the process, I was scrubbing the rust off of this, what I thought was basically just a generic Stanley No. 51 cabinet scraper that I picked up. The same time I picked up the number 8 and the number 5 Ohio tool. But in the process, of course my phone doesn't want to focus, you can barely see the Stanley Sweetheart logo on there. So that tells you about what year this plane was made. That's a good year, so I'm pretty happy with that. I might go back and buy the second one now just because of that. So anyway, enough of that. What I'm going to do now is pause and unpause. I've got a little bit of vinegar and water that I've already been working with. It's pretty cruddy already. From what I've seen, you can just keep reusing this stuff. So I'm going to dump it in. That's 50-50. You can see all the crud from the previous batch. And then I got 1, 2, 3 more gallons here. I've got another gallon in the house if it really comes down to it. I'm just going to dump these in and then add water behind it, so it's going to be 50-50, maybe a little bit stronger, and we'll go from there. I got a couple cuts on my thumb, so this is about to hurt really bad. And I will leave you here, and we'll come back in another day or two when I'm ready to see what happens. Okay, it is 11 o'clock the following day. Let's see how this stuff looks. What I've seen the technique, when I've seen the technique done before, they, Wood by Right, actually, he does it. It says you got to take it out, scrub it, and put it back in for another 24 hours usually. I know that took me a long time to say. I'm gonna let me find that number 4. I think it's all the way at the bottom. Oh, nope, I found it. Looks good so far. See how the rest is? I'm gonna go ahead and pull all this stuff out, wash it up, put it back in, soak it, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. I did not know that my phone had a light while I'm recording. Another 24 hours has passed. I'm going to see what we've got here. It's very scary looking. It's raining outside, so I have the motorcycles inside still, so not a lot of room here. Yeah. Whatever's been exposed to this vinegar rusts immediately after it's removed. So, fortunately, it cleans itself up all right. I'm going to pull all these out. I'm going to wash them off inside, take them to the wire wheel, make sure they're dry and rust free, and then start to do a final cleaning on these. This guy, unfortunately, I believe it's like a sandblasted. Wow. Sandblasted clean, everything. This is more like I paint, not paint, on theirs. I'm going to sandblasted clean, I'll sandblast yesterday, from Freight, and some less media. So we metal. So this clean up the light sand. When I do later, obviously, in the bucket, I'll fit half of the 20 at a time. So if you want to use it, the entire plane all once, you use half the submerged. Incredible. This manual was, this half was submerged yesterday. Not looking the best. It cleaned up as it came out. So, not to upset, we're going to clean up the wire wheels and clean up the anyway. So, let's see how we're forcing out. Get rid of this here. Number 5. That one's going to be sandblasted and cleaned up. Let's see how much paint you're painting, because that's something is missing. Number 71. Yeah, I think sandblasted also. And 9.5 in there. That one looks like it's probably, here we go, here we go. This is, that was a 4 and a 3. Alright, this is our number 4. Not too bad. Also, I hate really doing much to these vintage planes, but this was free, and I expected it to be total loss, so not too upset with sandblasting that one. This is our number 3. This took a long time. The wire wheel and the sandblasting not really something worth filming, so I skipped all that. And this is our number 8 here. Looking pretty good. This is the number 4 that was exceptionally rusty. So I got it all taped up. I'm going to go ahead and paint that. Not going to film that either. And then I got all the frogs ready to go here. Okay, it has been actually several days. I've been really busy lately. So this is the original rusty number 4 that we were looking at. I've getting ready to do the bottom of it. I got to glue these down before I get any further. So got a little bit of splatter from some liquid, some more of that vinegar. I was working on something else and kind of spattered on there. So I'm gonna clean that up. I'll use my die grinder or my Dremel probably to remove the paint from this wall right here. Put a little bit of wax on there and put this all back together and have it cleaned up and ready to go. Get the handles put on, so then I'll start smoothing out the bottom, fettling as they like to call it. And put a little bit of oil in here. This is still really snug, but it's not too bad. Get some oil in there and it'll be good to go. Okay, got this glued down with some spray adhesive. I only sprayed the sandpaper, not the granite tile, so I'll be able to get it back off. And it's a granite tile, so I'm pretty sure that if I used to use mineral spirits or lacquer thinner or something harsh to clean the glue off, I'm not going to damage anything. Obviously the focus of this video is our number 4 here. And I don't know why somehow the number 8 got thrown in there as well, but I'm going to start sanding the bottoms of these. I've got a bunch more planes, so I'm not going to show you all of those. If you see my video for the 112 scraper plane, it's the same technique. Only this time I'm going to start with 80 instead of 120. I'm going to go 80, 120, 220, and then maybe 320 depending on how it looks after that on all of these planes, and probably about 4 more that you don't see in this photo. So a lot of this is going to be extremely fast forward, and a lot of it's going to be cut out. One last thing before we begin. Basically, this is what our progress is. This is the one that was just completely covered in rust. I've had no issues with any of the screws so far. I got my handles mixed up. I know that wasn't, I don't believe this was the handle that came with it. Maybe it is. So I just got to figure out how to get that paint off the handle without damaging it. I tried Murphy's oil soap, and much traffic where I live, and this is about where I'm at right now. So a little bit more to do as far as the handles go. That won't be part of the video, but this is where we're at so far. This was completely rusty, so rusty in fact that the guy decided to go ahead and just let me have it for free. So this shows you what you can find in your neighborhood as well. The video I saw, another guy doing this, he used Simple Green. Simple Green was sold out when I went to the store, so this appeared to be a generic equivalent to it. It smells like it. It works. I'm using that. Not sure what the difference would be from this to any other chemical. But one last reminder, thanks to TF Wright and Sons for giving me the unbelievable deal on this piece of granite also. Make sure your blade's retracted when you do this. And use a marker on there, which I didn't do. We've got a long way to go. That is still very rough. This one does have a lot of pitting that is more evident now. It actually doesn't look any different than before I started. So no thanks to Popular Woodworking on their technique of gluing these down. That obviously did not work. That one held, but that was it. And that one held. It just pushed out. Somehow the middle one came completely unglued. So, okay, so either not enough glue, I didn't wait long enough, I don't know. I'm not messing around with that again. I don't have time. I'm already way behind schedule, and it's taking up my entire vacation. So, went back to my original method of clamping it down. I'm going to, since this is not wet dry sandpaper, I think it's just dissolving because it really made no progress on here at all. So, I'm just going to leave it dry. I got my vacuum cleaner over here, and I'm going to vacuum up the dust as I go and see if this makes a difference, if I can speed it up any without, hopefully this thing doesn't fall. Obviously that didn't work. So, that was pretty obvious that it wasn't going to, since these joints were sticking up. So what I did was I taped them back down on the back with this stuff that came in a box. I don't know how good it is. So we'll try this again, see what happens. Better. Many hours later, and a couple different techniques attempted, I ended up going backwards from the 80 to I don't even know what it is. I think it's 60 grit. It's some for a floor drum sander I got at a yard sale, and I went and did almost every plane I own. In fact, I did every plane I own except for the two brand new planes, and it's many hours later. So I've done that. I've moved on to a new pair of gloves, and I got some 120 now. I'm about to replace it because it is worn out. And I finally made it back around to our number 4. So we'll see. Almost feels crooked. Okay. We'll see how this does. Wipe it down. Put some 120 on it. So back to this. I'll turn my music back on. You'll see this in fast forward. I finally worked my way to 220 grit. I'm going to do these 6 with 220, and then I'm going to do either the 3 4s or all 4 of these, the 3 4s and the number 3 with 320. This is our primary one here. It's obviously the one that was really rusty that we started the video with. You see it's looking, in my opinion, pretty good. There's, you know, pitting around the edges, but I don't really care about that as much as I care about the bottom. Bottom looks really good. Let me marker it. I don't want to go too far. Nice, over there. Yep, we got that. One thing I'm looking out for is your sand bottom. You run it into 3 little sharp edge on the side of the line. Radius like that. What we got is funny, it's sharp around the bottom of the catch. I'm going to take those back edge. I'm done. I'm going to get that. Okay, bottom. It's kind of smooth back with it. But, look good. We are at 320 grit. This is as far as I'm going to go with this one. Let's see what this looks like. I'm gonna get this, finish this up, clean it. It's got a lot of dust on it, obviously. So much for the wax job I put on there. I'll clean it, sharpen the blade, and eventually I'll figure out how to get the paint off the handle without ruining it. And we'll see what our finished product looks like. I should have got a better before picture of this. It's just in time for my battery to die. There's still little traces here and here. I think I can live with that because this area here is the most important area. Knock all the dust out of it. That's it. It's done. Done-ish, I guess. A little bit of oil, and then I'll be using it. Here we go.